For years, there's been a lot of talk about the purported death of the CB radio. While it is true that CB no longer enjoys the public popularity it had in its heydays during the 1970s, does that make it a dead radio service? I don't think so. If that were the case, wouldn't the CB radios that were offered for sale be dwindling down to nothing? In fact, if you go to our website at buytworadios.com, you'll find that there are a number of CB radios for sale on the site. We have over 24 models of CB radios from a number of different manufacturers that are current, and they sell. Models from Cobra, Midland, Uniden, President, and even Ocean are still available on our site, and there may be more on the way. With all these models available, all these CB radios, where does this notion that CB is dying or is already dead come from? Now, if you talk to someone who uses radios from time to time for general purposes, they will tell you that CB is a long forgotten service. They've ditched their CB radios long ago for FRS, GMRS, sometimes even MERS. However, if you talk to someone in the trucking industry, they'll tell you that although some of them are using GMRS radios and maybe a couple of other services, some of them are even hams, you'll find that CB radio is still thriving in that industry. Many truckers still use CB on a daily basis. I was in a truck stop a while back, and I saw shelves full of CB radios for sale. Some of them just on the shelf, many of them behind glass partitions, but there were a number of them available for sale. And if CB was not really an active service anymore in that industry, they wouldn't be there. Generally, retailers don't stock products that aren't moving. The fact that they are there indicates that CB is still a viable radio service. Now, granted, a lot of people aren't using CB anymore. However, that doesn't mean that it has gone away. What it means is that it's found a niche. It is in a certain niche, just like GMRS is in a niche. FRS radios have their own niche. There are certain people that use FRS. There are certain people that use MERS for certain reasons. There are people that use digital radios for certain specific reasons. Ham radios. CB is the same way. It has its own niche. And although there may be a few people from time to time that aren't truckers or are not on road trips still using CB, you'll find that that is pretty much the niche that it's in right now. Having said that, let's take a look at a few models of CB radios that are pretty popular, and let's take a look at two new models that I think prove that CB radio is not dead. Not yet. Let's go back to the CB radio category page at buytworadios.com. You'll find that there are 24 models on the first page. On the second page, there are 10 more. So it's actually closer to 36. Now, this does not encompass all of the CB radios that are on the market. There are others out there. Some of the more popular radios include the President Randy 2. That's a popular handheld. Some of the Galaxy radios. There's even a Galaxy CB base station radio that still sells, and it's actually a fairly solid radio. And of course, Ocean has the KG-S72C, which is a portable handheld AM/FM CB radio that's proved fairly popular. Now, what has kept CB radio alive can be debated, but I think one key reason has to do with the changes made to CB radio back in 2021. Primarily, the change that allowed CB radios to use FM. Now, up to this point, CB has been limited to AM. Now that CB can also be used on FM, this has brought about a little bit of a renaissance or a resurgence in interest in CB radio, not just from those who use it, but from the manufacturers. This means that a lot of manufacturers are now stepping up and introducing new models with FM capability. Now, we could debate the popularity of FM on CB, or the lack of it, or whether or not people are actually using it, but the fact that manufacturers are stepping up to the plate and offering FM on CB, I think that says something. And not only FM, but in the process of offering that feature on their newer models, these manufacturers are also taking the opportunity to add a few more features as well. Let's take a look at two new models of CB radios that may not necessarily bring a resurgence in popularity as it was in its heyday, but it may spark renewed interest in CB as a whole. The first one is the Cobra 75 Allroad wireless CB radio. This is an AM/FM CB radio with Bluetooth for wireless connectivity to an all-in-one handset. So all the controls are basically on the handset, and the main unit can be stored under a seat, in the back, maybe somewhere tucked well under the dash, out of sight, out of mind. And all the controls are on the handset itself. It features a digital noise-canceling microphone. It features NOAA weather channels with alerts, instant channel 9 and 19, channel scan, frequency readout, and a local distance switch. It has all 40 CB radio channels and operates in dual mode, AM and FM, full 4 watts of AM output power, Bluetooth, and that's something that a lot of radio folks have asked for. It's here in this CB radio. Let's take a look at a few other features this radio offers. There's a whole list right here. 40 CB radio channels, of course, dual mode AM/FM, a full 4 watts of output power on AM, instant channel 9 and 19, Bluetooth functionality, which has been a popular request. It offers digital signal processing technology. Of course, it has the all-in-one handset with an LCD display on it, channel memory and scan, auto power, a timeout timer, Vox, a keypad lock, and it's compatible with Bluetooth wireless headsets and a Cobra 12-volt CB power adapter that's sold separately. This radio also has an IP66 waterproof rating, which is something you don't find on a lot of CB radios. It also has an SWR meter, a signal strength meter, and it comes with a 1-year manufacturer warranty from Cobra. Now, this includes the all-in-one handset, the main unit that you can tuck pretty much anywhere or mount anywhere that you want out of the way in your vehicle or in your cab, has a mounting bracket and hardware, a 12-volt power adapter, a hardware installation cable, and a quick start guide to help you get it set up in a snap. Now, one of the things about this radio is it's quite compact. It's only a little over 5 inches high, a little over 4.5 inches wide, and a little over a half-inch deep. So this is not a really large radio. It's quite compact, and it will fit pretty much in any vehicle that you want to put it into. It does take an SO239 UHF female antenna, so that's pretty much the standard for CB. So you really shouldn't have any problem matching it up with antennas or feed lines in your vehicle. The Cobra 75 sells for $199.95. And this is actually a pretty good deal for this radio. I would have to say that for all that it offers, especially for the Bluetooth wireless connectivity, I think that's a pretty decent offering from Cobra. Now, that's the first one. The second one is a new radio from President. Now, President has spent the last couple of years updating its line of CB radios to add FM functionality. This is one more in that lineup, but this is a new model, and it has one more item that some of the others don't have. This is the President George FCC. This is a brand new model. It has AM, FM, and single sideband functionality in the CB radio. Now, this radio delivers the maximum 4 watts of power that's allowed on CB and combines the latest technology and high sensitivity with FM and SSB capability to deliver the best experience possible on CB. Now, this is a full-featured CB radio that is engineered to be top of the line. It operates on 40 CB radio channels, AM, FM, upper sideband, and lower sideband modes. 12 watts PEP on the upper sideband and the lower sideband. Has 7 weather channels, a weather alert. It has a preset emergency, EMG 1 and 2. It has public address capability. And of course, the 7-color multifunction LCD display that is common on many of their other models. And that's a popular feature, being able to customize the display for inside your cab or your vehicle. And it's on this model as well. It has scan, tone, channel rotary switch, manual squelch, and ASC. It has all the usual filters that are included with most of the other President models. It has a power reading and an SWR meter. It has a VU meter. It has talkback, a hands-free Vox function, beep function, Roger beep, an F function key. And there's, of course, a mode switch. You can just instantly switch it back and forth between AM, FM, upper sideband, and lower sideband. Has a front microphone connector, an external speaker connector, and it has a 2-year manufacturer warranty. Now, the package includes the President George FCC CB radio, an ultra-light electric microphone with support, a power cord, fuse, a mounting bracket, and the screws to go with it. Now, this is not the smallest CB radio out on the market, but it's not overly large either. It comes in at about a little over 7¼ inches by 6 3/4 inches by 2 1/4 inches, which puts it at a pretty decent size for fitting in most vehicles and cabs. The President George FCC is now available at Buy-to-Air Radios, and the price is $279. Now, considering these 2 new models and the advanced functionality that they offer, there's a lot of R&D that goes into making a radio. There's a lot of planning. There's a lot of cost involved in bringing any single radio to market. Now, if CB radio was a dead service, wouldn't manufacturers be spending the R&D, the time, and the money to bring new models to the market, including these 2? I don't think so. I think they'd be moving on to something else, whatever was the hottest thing on the market right now, because that would be where the money is. The fact that a lot of these manufacturers, and it's not just Cobra and it's not just President, but there are other manufacturers that are also offering newer CB models with FM functionality and single sideband and other features to the market. The fact that they're doing this tells me that there's still a fairly high demand for CB, at least enough of a demand to warrant investing all of that expense to produce these things. So is CB radio dead? I don't think so. But there is enough of a demand to bring more and newer models to the market. But what do you think? Is CB radio still relevant, or is it a dead service? Send in your comments to show@buy2airradios.com. If we read your comment in a future episode, there could be a free t-shirt or some swag in the deal.